This is a red-spotted purple butterfly. Personally, I think it's kind of a strange name, given the fact that it has neither red spots nor is purple. It actually has orange spots and a blue shimmer to the wings. My sister found this beauty while out on a hike with a friend, and she wrapped it in a leaf and stuck it in her pocket and brought it home to me. She's a little beaten up and missing most of her body, antenna, and legs, but I figured her obvious imperfections would make it a little less stressful for my first pinning. I started by mixing a 50-50 dilution of rubbing alcohol and water, and then soaking a couple layers of paper towels in that mix. I kept the paper towels pretty damp, but not dripping wet. The alcohol keeps any mold from growing in the container, while the butterfly sits in the humidity and softens. It was recommended to put the bug on some kind of mesh, screen, or petri dish, but I didn't have any of that stuff, so I figured this burlap might be an okay option. Thankfully, it did work out and nothing stuck to the butterfly wings, because this was really just one big experiment for me. I placed another piece of burlap over the top in a dome shape before putting another layer of paper towels soaked in the alcohol and water mixture on top of that. This pretty much creates a butterfly sandwich without anything actually touching the butterfly inside. I made sure that the container was airtight and secure with plastic wrap and an elastic band, and then I just had to leave it for the next 24 hours. While I waited for the humidity to do its job, I made my DIY pinning board out of some recycled styrofoam, generously donated by my grandpa, who always supports my weird hobbies. I have this random tool, and I actually have no idea what it's technically for, but I use it for all my random jobs. In this case, I used it to carve out a small ditch to place the butterfly body in so that I'll be able to pin the wings flat and let everything dry in place. The end result looked a little rough, but you know what? It worked. And it was free, so DIY wins again. I did this on a Sunday afternoon, so I was planning on doing the pinning on Monday afternoon, but I ended up being busy that day, so I didn't take her out until Tuesday morning. The instructions say that when you open the humidity chamber, you can test the legs with a toothpick to see if they're pliable yet. And this is me cautiously doing that, and then realizing that I actually have no idea what I'm looking for. But I figured after almost 2 days of sitting, it was probably good, so I just decided to go for it. It was recommended to use pins in size number 2 or number 3, and I went with number 2, since I didn't actually know the difference. I just bought these off Amazon, and they worked perfectly fine. The instructions also called for wax paper, but I didn't have any, so I used parchment paper, and it was also a perfectly fine substitution. I think it's safe to say that I am currently in my bug era. I'm not sure what era I was in before this, but I do know it wasn't bugs. Although looking back, I've definitely been foreshadowing this turn of events for a while now. In the past handful of years, I've spent quite a bit of time painting collections of insects. Then I started adding more bug items into my accessories. I then proceeded to sew an entire butterfly quilt. And now I've spent my spring raising baby butterflies into adulthood and releasing them into the big wide world. So I guess we could have all seen this coming. Maybe we should have predicted it. It was clearly only a matter of time. Last winter, I started getting interested in pinning butterflies. I found a tutorial on Woodlark blog, and I read the entire process so that I knew what I was getting into. Of course, since I would never intentionally harm a butterfly, I knew that I'd be waiting quite a while until I found a naturally deceased butterfly in the wild. And that day finally arrived last week when Taylor handed me this little guy. Since then, I've also found another one that I'll be pinning next and adding to the collection. If anyone watching this video has pinned bugs before, you probably already know where I screwed up here. I forgot to put the pin in the body first, and I didn't remember to do this until the very end when the butterfly was already dry. I could have easily cracked the body and ruined all my work. This is me realizing my mistake and trying not to ruin everything. The pin did end up going in crooked, but a dab of glue on the back held everything in place, and it ended up looking perfectly fine in the end, so it all worked out. It's honestly kind of a bummer that you won't be able to see the underside of the butterfly once it's pinned, because this side is just as beautiful as the blue shimmers on the top. And if I find another butterfly of the same species, I'm definitely going to pin it upside down so I can see both sides. I bought this shadow box off Amazon, and now I have high hopes that I'll fill it up with beautifully preserved bugs. It doesn't have to be just butterflies either. I'm really just on the lookout for anything cool. I like to print out the names of each one with the scientific name underneath, because even though I have no idea how to pronounce the Latin, I do enjoy a good aesthetic. A bit of gold was needed around the edges, because nothing is complete without the little shimmer. And then I just pinned it underneath the butterfly. The great thing about a board like this is that you can reposition anything at any time, so you can make room for more in the future. But right now, the glory all goes to this one red-spotted purple butterfly, who I will assume had a long and fruitful life.